She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Toot, toot. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Toot, toot. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Toot, toot.
Clearwater has existed as almost a family member of the Seeger family. And Pete Seeger and Toshi Seeger and the various family members have been so integral to the organization. We are being openly asked when I sit down with Pete Seeger, Allan, it is time. You've got to get out of the nest. You've got to take Clearwater and go. Don't look back.
It's going to be much harder than you think to get young people working with you. We've got large forces working against us.
It's very open. It's a little painful. It's hard, but he knows full well that we can't be dependent on him. And so we're basically entering a new era for Clearwater, which is an era which will always have Pete Seeger's legacy and message as part of it, but at a certain point needs to simply go forward in a way that is absolutely independent of Pete Seeger.
Yum, yum, hi, babe, whoa, back, toot, toot. She will have to sleep with Grandma when she comes.
This project, this building project, feels to me very strongly it's so significant for the growth step that you're taking as an organization right now. It's really amazing how it's kind of, aligned up with the growth step that you're taking.
Yes.
So
it's a symbol of where we're at. An old, beautiful building that needs to be greened, retrofitted to become a new life.
Do look at this facility as one part of a larger whole. And I think that the beacon component, which has three pieces, dock, waterside facility, and this facility, is one part of a still bigger whole for Clearwater that we are working on, which is the Hudson River itself as our place. And Jeff and I are very actively planning right now a facility that could service Clearwater upriver and a facility that could service Clearwater downriver in New York City.
This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me.
This is almost like having a military force.
Yes.
You're doing a Navy and the associated water-based facilities. And this is almost like, this is probably the Marines, because this is our first in. We need a new site. We're doing this one with volunteers. We're doing it hands-on. We've got everybody hitting hammers. We got all kinds of businesses involved. It's getting the energy going. In the last 2 years, we've doubled our operations, our impact with youth and with adults. And we're looking to keep doubling every couple of years. And to do that, we're going to need these facilities. We need to have the next generation environmental leaders trained, thousands upon thousands of young people trained to make a big change, make that change to a more sustainable green Hudson Valley. Green business can be the future.
Right.
And the best innovation is coming out of companies like this over here.
Put it this way, the environmental movement has been wonderful, but it's mostly been on the fringes.
Right.
We have to impact the daily decisions that people are making and how they're spending their dollars and making, spending those in a more sustainable way.
We had to reinvent why Clearwater is relevant.
Right.
And I think that's a process that we want to continue.
But that involves things like core values, being more inclusive with everyone on the river, rich people, poor people, everyone on the river. Republicans, Democrats, everyone on the river.
Want to do good things.
3 years ago, it would have been unusual to say, okay, who's sailing Clearwater today? Oh, the cadets at West Point are sailing Clearwater today. That would have been a very unusual answer. It's not unusual this year. I think that is a changed paradigm for Clearwater. In other words, that is basically reaching out to a much broader group where each of those groups might have been suspicious of one another at some point during the last 40 years and are basically trying at this point to say, no, we all got to drink the water together. Let's get going.
As Pete said, many, many more people on the river, in the river, involvement in the river is what's going to change the world. It's the Margaret Mead thing. The only thing that really changes the world is each person.
I've been the head of many environmental boards. I've been the head of Audubon and Sierra Club, and I see them behave in a very corporate way, and Clearwater does not behave that way. but I see that to be one of our strengths rather than one of our weaknesses. I do think as an organization we need to, in the future, be humble. I think we need to be willing to look at ourselves accurately in the mirror and see our weaknesses, not just our strengths. We're sure we're the best environmental education on the river. We might be. I think we have lots of room for improvement on a lot of things, and I'm most worried in life when we're sure we're all that we can be, and we're sure we have no room for improvement. That's what worries me. So I'm very hopeful in the future that Clearwater is able to take an introspective moment and just ask ourselves, where can we go? And not be sure that we are perfect. I envision Clearwater as having more than one boat in the future. I think that one boat limits the number of people that we can take on the river every year to the number of the days in the year times the number of people we can take on the boat. And I believe that in a metropolitan area like New York City and Albany, that's far too little. So I envision Clearwater as having 3 sloops or 4 sloops, one in New York, one in Albany, one here, that can sail together periodically. I envision Clearwater as continuing to grow in sophistication in terms of its environmental education efforts, which have been our core.
I'll be very excited about the vision of Clearwater when I see a representation of the next generation environmental leaders on the Hudson River, in the Hudson Valley, in our businesses, and that sustainable new paradigm start taking shape with Clearwater taking some of the leadership roles and innovation necessary to get there.
All I know is that we, all our little small organizations, are what will save the human race. If there's a human race still here in 100 years, it's not going to be saved by any big thing. It's going to be saved by millions upon millions of little things.
Pressing on, harmony, pressing on.